Hey guys, so I finally made it to Brazil. Awesome. This is my first blog post in a couple of weeks now, so I'm really sorry about that, but it's taken a bit of time to get settled in, and I pretty much tried to jump into my training head first and go training every day, so that's obviously taking up a lot of my time. For this first blog post here in Brazil, I've decided to go through a bunch of stuff that everyone is going to have to go through to actually stay here for a long period of time. So rather than talk about training or showing you guys some training footage or anything like that, I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff that you will need to do if you intend on staying in Brazil and training for an extended period of time. So the first thing we're going to talk about is your CPF number. So if I can find my one, here it is here, show that to you guys. That's basically what it looks like. So your CPF number is essentially your national security number. So if you're from the States, you'll be quite familiar with this idea. Where I'm from in New Zealand, we don't have anything like that, but it basically functions as your identity number to the government for tax purposes, identity purposes, all that sort of thing. It's very hard to do a lot of stuff here if you don't have one of these. So if you can get one before you come, like I did, I would highly recommend it. So our embassy was able to get us a CPF number each, my partner and I, before we came, which was just on their website. It didn't really say much about it, kind of just said we suggest you do this, didn't say what it was for, but I'm really glad we got it now. And all of the stuff we needed to do to get it was the same to get the actual visa, so we didn't have to submit anything extra because all the information was there for the visa, and then they just apply for it separately for you and give it to you before you go. But just to stress the importance of why you need it, for some reason you need it to do almost anything here in Brazil. So if you want a SIM card for your cell phone to get a phone number and everything, you need a CPF. You want to buy some tickets to go see something, you're going to need a CPF. My landlord told me he wasn't allowed to buy a TV without giving him a CPF. So why the government needs your number to buy a TV, I have no idea. But if you want to compete in competitions, get registered through the different federations here, and fight as much as possible, you're going to need a CPF number, otherwise things can be quite difficult for you. So highly recommend, if you can, go to your embassy before you leave, your Brazilian embassy where you are, flick them an email and just say, hey, can I get a CPF before I go, and it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. The second thing we're going to talk about is your RNE, so I'll just bring that up here. So your RNE essentially stands for Registro Nacional de Estrangeiro, which translated means registered foreign national in Brazil. Anyone wanting to stay in Brazil for longer than your tourist visa, which is 90 days, so if you want to stay more than 90 days in Brazil, you have to go through this RNE process, and it's quite lengthy. You need to do a lot of stuff, you've got to spend some money, and it can be very trying. So I'm basically going to take you through what you need to do to get your RNE, what you're going to need to take with you, problems, all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to bring up a website here that was really helpful to me, and we'll go through this stuff step by step. What I'll do is I'll actually post the link to this website in the description box in YouTube, so if anyone needs to find it and go through the steps themselves when they're here, that'll be really helpful for you. So first off, let me say that I had no idea about this before I got here. My embassy didn't tell me about it. They actually had incorrect information on their website. I emailed them and they gave me the incorrect information again, which was different. Just talking from other people here, it's really confusing. You can get told different things by different people who work for the federal police. There's a bunch of different websites out there. If you search RNE Brazil and all that sort of stuff, I found a bunch of websites that told me a whole lot of different things. But this one we're going to go through now, that I'm going to post a link, has absolutely everything that we brought and ended up getting an RNE with, so it's actually really helpful. So let's go through what we need here. So your first thing you're going to need, of course, is your original passport. So not a photocopy, not a notarized copy, nothing like that. You need the actual physical passport. The second thing you're going to need is a copy of all of your passport pages. Now, what this means is you need copies of your used passport pages. So a passport's like 50 pages. You don't need 50 photocopied pages of blank passport that don't have anything on them, okay? So what you're gonna need is your main page, which has your face, your passport number, date of birth, all that sort of stuff on there. Of course, you're gonna need a photocopy of your visa page if you've got a visa before coming in. So ours is a little stuck in thing in one of our pages. You need a photocopy of that. And then you're going to need a photocopy of any other page in the passport that has a stamp on it from a country you visited. So if you've been traveling quite a bit, this can add up. When we went there to do this, they didn't actually take our photocopies of the pages with the stamps on, okay? They only took our visa page and the actual passport identity page. However, I have talked to people who said they did need that. So just to be safe and sorry, better safe than sorry, you definitely want to take those with you. One thing that can be a problem as well is in Brazil, they're not really that big on photocopied official documents. So if you photocopy your birth certificate or your passport and you take it there, they can actually refuse it because they don't know that it's authentic. And they have this thing set up over here called a cartório, which is like an official notary. We have them back home. I'm sure a lot of countries have them, but it seems to be like the locals here have told me, it's a bit of a scam and they're not really that happy about it. So every time they need to get something photocopied, they have to go there, get it notarized, pay some money, okay, which is a real pain in the ass. So we went to the cartório, got our stuff notarized just in case. What that looks like, I'll show you guys an example here. So this is one of my passport pages that I had a stamp on, which was from Frankfurt in Germany, and also from Tokyo at the top. So that was obviously stamped. I got it photocopied, and then what you can see down the bottom there is just a little notarized cartório stamp and official signatory thing there. The cartórios are everywhere. You just have to look them up on Google. There's heaps of them because it's a big business over here. They make a lot of money off it. You can expect to pay about 6 to 10 reais per page. So if you have a lot of stamps, it can really add up. The other problem we ran into is the first one we went to, they told us that they couldn't notarize anything that wasn't in Portuguese. So we were going to have to go and get our passports translated, all the pages translated, which is a big business here and costs a lot of money. And apparently they told us it was illegal for them to stamp anything that wasn't in Portuguese. This obviously was very frustrating and annoying. All we ended up doing was going to the next cartório, which was a block away, and the guy stamped everything and signed it. So as a lot of things here in Brazil, it seems like what I've been talking about other people, that things are going to change depending on who you talk to. So if you go somewhere and they say no, we can't do it, blah blah, maybe come back the next day, see someone else, go somewhere else and do the other thing, and it seems to have worked out for us. Two recent 3x4 centimeter color photos. So these are basically like your passport photos. Okay, you're gonna need 2 of those there. Just be a little bit aware that the passport photos in Brazil can sort of be a little bit different from what you'd expect back home. So these are my 2 little criminal looking passport photos here. The quality is not that great. It's more like a Polaroid almost. And if I sent this into the passport office back home in New Zealand, they would definitely reject these, but for some reason it's fine here. So yeah, you can get those done different places. We went to a little photo booth in a mall, and there's a lady there that was running it, and we just said passport and she did it for us and it was fine. Second thing, but we're way down the list now. Another thing you're gonna need is your entrance card. So when you enter the country, you're going to fill out a couple of cards, of course, and we find them here. So got a couple of ones here. First one you've got is your customs baggage declaration thingy. They don't take this off you, which is kind of strange. I don't think that's what you need. The thing you're going to need is your cartão de entrada, your entrance card, which is this thing here. They didn't actually take this or photocopy it from us, but again, better to take along, be better safe than sorry. Do not lose this when you're in Brazil, so keep this somewhere safe, because apparently when you leave the country you do need this or you're going to cop a hefty fine. Moving down the list now, copy of your original visa application. So let me find that, where are we here, blah blah blah. This looks something like this. Okay, so This is from the federal Brazilian government. This was done at our embassy in New Zealand when we applied for our visa. We brought this along with us. They want the original visa application, okay? So I got a copy done. As you can see, it's been notarized by Cartorio if I need it later on, because they will take the original from you and not give it back. So definitely get that photocopied just in case you need it in the future. What else have we got? Okay, so the last couple of things are stuff you need to do from the Brazilian government on their website. Okay, the first one is a federal police form. So in the link I'm going to provide you with the page, it has the instructions, everything there that you can do it. You basically go to the Brazilian government website. It's not in English, of course, so if you do it on your computer, Google Chrome will translate it for you, which is quite useful. You do need to print it out, so this is a problem. You basically need stuff like your passport number, date of birth, your mother's name, your father's name, basically your address, where you're living, all this sort of stuff. So make sure you take a look at this form before you go and fill it out. And the other thing you're going to need is a proof of 2 different bank fees, okay? So one is, well, they're both registering foreigners. One's currently it's 124 something reais, the other one's 65 reais, so it's almost 200 reais to get registered, which is really annoying, and it's 2 different taxes. So basically you got to go onto the federal police form, fill out an application for both of these. They'll give you a ticket. You take that to a bank here in Brazil. We went to Banco do Brasil, just because it's you know, the public government bank here, and you know it's going to be legit. You pay your fees there. They give you a receipt, which you then take along with you in the other forms. So you do have to print these out. So we didn't have access to a printer, so what we did was we went to an internet cafe here. You can print pages off really, really cheap. The only problem is when you go to an internet cafe here, they're not set up for translating to English in Google Chrome, obviously, because we're in Brazil and it's going to be all in Portuguese. So what I did was I went through all of the forms at home on my laptop, Google translated them into English, took screenshots, went through the whole thing, went through the whole process, didn't click submit obviously, right at the end I clicked cancel, but I took screenshots of every single page I need to fill out so they're in English, emailed them to myself so that when I went to the internet cafe I could just look at one and I knew what everything was, put it in there. If you speak Portuguese obviously you're going to be fine. So yeah, basically that's everything you're going to need. Obviously quite annoying. Probably the most annoying thing about this whole process is the fact that the federal police office you have to go to get this done in Rio is at the international airport, okay, which is miles away. So if you're staying somewhere else like Sao Paulo, Curitiba, Manaus, wherever, I'm not sure, but in Rio itself, the federal police office you have to go to is in the Rio Galileo International Airport, which is quite a while away, which is a real pain in the ass. And the other thing is you can have to go back 2, 3, 4 times, all right? The hours of the office are only Monday to Friday, 8 till 2. I think a lot of websites say 8 till 12, but when we were there it said 8 till 2, so you've got a bit of time. Pays to get there early because there's always a queue. There's always a lot of people there trying to get this done. You talk to anyone there, they'll tell you they've been there 2 or 3 times. Really, really frustrating. Okay, we were lucky we got in on the first go, so maybe it was because we had all the relevant information other people didn't, but definitely take a thorough read through the link I'm going to post, make sure you get it all done, and it's definitely going to help you out. One last thing that I should have gone over with you guys, I totally forgot, was when you do go and get your RNE and you get successfully registered and all that sort of stuff, they take your fingerprints, all that sort of thing. And basically what you end up with is this. You guys can see it, piece of paper. Basically this is your temporary RNE card. So you're going to get an identity card as a registered foreigner. At some point this piece of paper is your temporary one. So this is an official government document, acts as the real thing. Basically like your temporary driver's license. When you get your driver's license they give you that little temporary one, and that's a legal document until you get your real thing. So basically the same with this thing. This basically says that it's valid for the whole time your visa is valid, so ours is valid for a year, even though it's not a real thing. Apparently it can take quite a while to get the real thing, almost up to a year sometimes. They told us to come back the week after we did it, which I didn't entirely believe, and I didn't want to waste the whole day going out to the airport for nothing. So they've got numbers on here and stuff. You can log on to the Federal Police website and check the status of when your RNE card is there, and then you have to make another trip out to the airport, of course, to get your permanent one. So yeah, hope that helps. The next thing we're going to go through is getting your phone set up. So if you want to text, call, get some data on your phone, all that sort of stuff, we're going to do that. My first piece of information is all the telcos here suck. Okay, the telecommunication providers are terrible compared to what we're used to back home. So there's a bunch of different ones you can go through. The one we are using is called TIM, T-I-M. That was suggested to me by a local who used it, said it was one of the best ones, so we went with them. The service is not very good. You know, the actual coverage is quite useless. The plans are really bad. So for example, what I'm on is a plan where I pay one real a day, and it gets me 30 megs of data, and that's it. Okay, so 30 megs of data is pretty much stuff all. It's like one YouTube video, or you could check your Facebook, you know, do a few YouTube searches, Google searches, and you're pretty much done. So don't expect to come here and be on your phone all the time, which is good, you know, people spend a lot of time on phones anyway, but yeah, you won't be Instagramming all day, all that sort of stuff. Better to stay somewhere where you know you've got the Wi-Fi, you can go at the end of the day, post up your photos, check your Facebook, all that sort of stuff. A big problem we ran into was that you're going to need your CPF obviously to get this phone thing set up. So what you can do is you go to, this is another weird thing here, if you go to the actual stores, TIM stores, T-I-M, the stores are everywhere, you can look them up. They sell phones, they do the plans and all that sort of stuff. They don't sell SIM cards. Okay, so they've got a telco provider store, you can't get a SIM card there. Great, alright, really, really annoying. What you need to do is go to one of the little store stands that are all over the place on the street. They sell mainly magazines, drinks, candy, that sort of stuff, and they're the ones that sell the actual SIM cards. To get one for an iPhone, like a nano one, can be kind of annoying. They're not all over the place, so you might have to go for a walk, try 5 or 6 different things. Basically, we're going to ask for is prepago chip TIM. It's your prepaid TIM chip, and you can pay 5 or 10 reais for that. When you go through, you put it in your phone, all that sort of stuff. Basically, there's instructions in the SIM. If you have Google Translate on your phone, I highly recommend getting that app. You can translate all the information, it will tell you what to do. They have a number you call to set your SIM up, and they have an option for an English hotline. So it's really, really good. One thing, this is where you need your CPF. If you're going to stay in Brazil for a while and you want to use your TIM chip properly, you want to get the app to check your balance, all that sort of stuff, you need the CPF. It won't work without CPF. So if you call up and say you use the English hotline, they'll say, I need your passport number. Instead of giving them the passport number, give them your CPF number. So say, when they say, can I have your passport number, say, I have a CPF number. So what they'll do is they'll take that CPF number and put it on your account, which will allow you to log in online, get the app, all that sort of stuff. If you give them your passport number, you cannot get your app and all that set up properly without a CPF, okay? So I think the idea of giving the passport number is someone who's going to be here for a short period of time where they don't really care about logging in or checking the things on the app, checking their balance, all that sort of stuff, here for a week, here for a month, it doesn't matter. If you're going to be here for a long period of time, definitely make sure you give them the CPF just so you don't get screwed around too much. Wrapping it up quickly, we're going to go through transport and accommodation. So if you're living in the gym where you're training, obviously going to be fine for you. You can walk a lot of places, of course, but basically your main methods of transport are going to be the metro, which is your underground train line, and you can do that by using the metro card, which is this thing here. Metro is really, really fast, costs about 330 reais, I think, per trip, no matter how far you want to go. So that's one of the good things about transport, public transport in Brazil, is it's a flat rate. If you're going from one stop to the next stop down the road, it's going to cost you 330. If you're going to go from one stop right to the end of the line, hour-long journey, it's still going to cost you 330. So that's a really, really good thing. Get one of the cards. You can just go and buy one from any of the stations. There's normally a person there, and you just ask for recharge card, recarga cartão for Metro, and you can just reload stuff on it. There are machines there. They have an English option, so you can just put your card in, press English, put your money in, and it'll load it on there. It's really good. Whenever you use the card to get on the train, it actually tells you your balance, feeds back your balance to you, so you always know how much you got. It's really good. Buses, I haven't really caught a bus yet, except to the airport. Basically just paid the driver the cash. I think you can get cards and all that sort of stuff. Train system, so I'm using the train system to get out to Maya, where GF team is, in the north zone from Rio Centro. Again, similar card, little train card here, similar deal. You know, you load money onto it, tells you how much balance is when you use it. The only problem with that one is there's no little ATM things where you can do it yourself. You normally have to go up to the window, so maybe a little bit of Portuguese is going to help you out there. What else have we got? Oh, also Bike Rio, really useful. So what that is there's all over the city, the main city, they have little bike stands, and for 10 reais a month, stuff all, you can ride a bike anywhere you want for up to an hour at a time, as long as you return it to another station. So you'll see them everywhere. They're these big bright orange stations, and they have bikes in them. The bike's usually pretty good. Just make sure you get one that doesn't have flat tires or a broken chain. You access that through an app. So if you go into Google App Store, search Bike Rio, that'll come up. I think if you say you can choose an English option to set it up, enter your credit card, they'll deduct 10 reais a month off. That's really useful. So these bike stations are everywhere, and all you have to do is make sure you return the bike within an hour, and then you don't get an extra charge. So it saves you quite a bit of money if you're just going to bike around. Last thing we're going to go through real quick is accommodation. So some gyms have the option to stay in the gym, obviously. Might not be what you're looking for or you're expecting. If you're coming along with someone else, like I'm here with my partner, she's obviously not going to want to sleep in the gym, so we're not doing that. Hotels and all that sort of stuff here is pretty expensive. So one option we're using to get our accommodation is the website Airbnb. I'll post that in the link as well for you guys to check out. So if you're not familiar with Airbnb, it's basically like a bed and breakfast in someone's house. So basically you're staying in like a motel, hotel, but it's in someone's house. It's not always with people. Like sometimes it'll be someone's house and you just have a room, you share a bathroom, share a kitchen, or you have a private bathroom, etc. Sometimes you get a whole place to yourself. But basically it's a way cheaper option than a hotel, much cheaper. What we're doing is going from Airbnb to Airbnb, trying to get longer stays. You can always contact them and say, if I stay for a long period of time, can you give me a discount? They usually charge you a cleaning fee. You can say, take the cleaning fee off, or do the cleaning myself, makes it even cheaper for you. And usually they're pretty keen to do it, as long as the place isn't booked out already. Because if you think about it, you know, they've got this place, you want to stay there for a month, they've got it booked one day here, one day there, they get a little bit of money, whereas if you book it out for a long period of time, they're obviously going to make a lot more money off you than having it empty all the time and people aren't booking. So definitely give that a check out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So those are the few things you're going to look at doing, get yourself set up in Rio. Just bear in mind things like, you want to get this stuff done as soon as possible. Things like your R&E, going out to the airport. Like if you don't want to catch a taxi out to the airport every damn time because it costs a lot of money. If you get your R&E first off like we did, then you consider yourself lucky, but you don't want to catch a taxi 4 times there and back to the airport and then telling you no, blah blah blah, all this stuff. So you know, you're going to catch a bus, it's going to take a few hours, it's your whole day written off, and it has to be during the week as well. So definitely look at all this stuff if you're planning to come to Brazil before you get here, just so you know what you're up to before you get here, and you don't really waste a lot of time trying to figure things out. Yeah, I hope that helps you guys. Anyone coming over to Brazil, wanting to train for obviously more than 3 months, getting yourself set up over here. If you have any questions or anything like that, please post them in the thread. I will answer as many questions as I possibly can. And maybe give me some suggestions for the next video. I'm going to try and cover some training stuff, but I can also go over things that you guys might have questions or be curious about. But yeah, that's it for now. Hopefully I have another blog post for you in a couple of weeks, and we can go through the training. I can show you some footage of the gym and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, awesome. Catch you guys later.